How many of you have ever wanted to go to Westminster and make a speech? Yeah, is it something that you could manage? Is it something that would absolutely terrify you? Well, there's a young girl called Amy Foster. She's in College 1 at the Mount School here in York. And she's recently been to Westminster and delivered a speech, and it's all to do with the women's vote, because we're celebrating the centenary. And I'm very pleased to say that Amy is here in the studio now. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A very exciting time for you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not something that I ever thought I would be given the opportunity to do. Honestly, I'm still in awe.
Really? Why were you chosen, Amy?
Well, it was part of a competition that's run by the Historical Association, which runs competitions and events all around the country. And they run a competition every year called the Great Debate. So there were regional heats all over the country. I won the regional heat for North Yorkshire. And so the final took place in Westminster.
Wow. Not many people get that opportunity to go into that environment and deliver a speech. I've read your speech. I have it on screen in front of me. And I don't mean this in any other way, but it doesn't look as if it was written by a young girl. This is such an accomplished speech. What does the women's vote mean to you as a girl?
Well, obviously, as a girl, and especially a girl who goes to an all-girls school, it's something that means an enormous amount to me, especially because I'm quite politically minded. I'm, very interested in current events and kind of making sure that I'm aware of what's going on in the world, because that's important to me, that that I'm educated. And I think that the act that was passed in 1918 was a hugely, hugely positive step forward. It was the first time that women had been able to have the vote in the UK kind of ever, really. Mm-hmm. And it was a massive kind of leap in terms of, feminism and being allowing women to have a voice that they'd never had before. It allowed women to kind of have that sort of political grasp that that they'd never been able to have. And it's such an important thing nowadays that women are able to, take part in political discussions and political events. And, we've got a female prime minister. And to think that all of that... not the first. And to think that all of that has happened in, 100 years, it's just, it's incredible.
100 years ago, it was a very male-orientated country. Men did everything. Woman was very subservient. She looked after the house. If she was working, it would be menial task and not earning an awful lot of money. I think it must have shocked the male fraternity of this country when women actually got the vote.
I think to an extent it did, although because, this was, very, very near the end of the First World War, women had far more work opportunities. It was one of the very few, good outcomes of the First World War, in that women had been given work opportunities and they'd been given, independence because the men were away or had died, and they had this opportunity to take on kind of roles that they'd never been able to have before. And I think that's part of what pushed Parliament to realise, actually, these are very valuable and, independent members of society, and they deserve a vote.
And we're still, even in today, 2018, we still have this division of the male wage and the female wage. So we haven't quite reached the barrier where equality is tantamount across the country.
No. I think equality is one of those things that it has very, very deep roots, and it's difficult to get to the absolute, bottom of having integrated equality in a country. It's very difficult to do that quickly. It's something that takes a lot of time. And, as I said in my speech, social change is down to societal opinions rather than laws. Laws kind of help things along, but it's the minds of the people that make change. I
think what you've done is absolutely fascinating, and you represented Yorkshire, which is just huge. But the Mount School brings so much more out of a girl than any other school that I know. You're taught so many diverse subjects, but this leads you on to a better career, a better lifestyle. You must be very privileged to go to the Mount.
Absolutely. I feel so lucky that I've been able to attend this school. I mean, I've been there since I was in year 7, and the difference that it's made in who I am as a person has been absolutely immense. I mean, when I joined in year 7, I was absolutely terrified of public speaking. It was my worst nightmare. I think I did a speech in year 7, and when my mum came to see it, I'd gone kind of white as a sheet. I was absolutely terrified. And then she saw me in Westminster on Saturday and was amazed by the fact that I just didn't look frightened at all. I mean, I was, but I managed to kind of build that confidence over the past, 5.5 years. And I think being at the Mount has made a massive difference in, my confidence levels, especially in speaking my opinions. Yep. Because I think, the fact that it's an all-girls school means that girls are much more likely to speak up in class and to, voice their opinions and talk about, what they think without being scared of being shouted down or scared of being wrong, which is, it's a massive thing, especially in, today's society.
Absolutely. I'm proud for you for doing it. It really, really is. I mean, we host the Hovercraft Day every year at the Mount, and the girls that come there, especially the Mount girls, the focus that they have, it's easy to lose concentration and be distracted by many, many things in an environment, but they seem so focused. But that is the ethics of the Mount, because it concentrates your vision on the task in hand. And you must have felt this over the years.
Absolutely. I mean, when I first joined, I was quite disorganised. My teachers will tell you of the days when, I would hand in things, maybe a month late.
Okay.
So at times, I was very, very disorganised. And now I'm, managing, I have that under control. I've been given so much support from the teachers in order to kind of get that sort of thing under control, because that was the main thing that I struggled with. Yeah. At my primary school, it was amazing, but I don't think I was quite pushed enough to have that level of kind of organisation in terms of my work and that level of focus. And the Mount really kind of helped me to reach my full potential, essentially.
To channel that into... What do you want to do when you leave the Mount?
Well, I'm hoping to study history at university. And after that, I'm not entirely sure. But I do know that I want to do history. I mean,
You've got a good radio voice.
Thank you.
So you never know.
Well, maybe. Possibly. I mean, I'm thinking possibly journalism as well, maybe. Yeah. So that's...
I mean, the writing on this speech you did, journalism, you've got it cracked. Just
maybe
sign the contract here, have it ready. You're in. I'm going to actually put you on the spot, and I apologise for doing this. I'm just going to turn this screen on, and you will see in front of you probably your speech.
Yeah.
Could you just deliver just the part of it just from the start?
The first bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'll tell you now, there are a lot more than 70 people listening. So have a go.
Those who know me will know that I am a very opinionated person. I can't even begin to imagine a world in which I wouldn't be able to vote purely because of my gender. I'm an outspoken feminist with a great deal of interest in class politics, and so it might come as a surprise that I don't at all think that the 1918 extension of the franchise was the most important moment in British democratic history. Why? The Act undeniably had an enormous effect on the country as a whole. It reduced political elitism with the removal of property requirements for men, some women were given the vote, and the electorate tripled in size from 7.7 million in 1912 to 21.4 million in 1918.
Fabulous. That is so well written, so concise and to the point. You should be very, very proud. And I think the school should be very, very proud that you are going out as an ambassador for the Mount and putting into your words something that has affected thousands and millions of women over the last 100 years. You must be ecstatic about what you've achieved.
Incredibly proud of myself, to put it shortly. It's not something that I ever thought I would be able to do. I've never been hugely confident in terms of public speaking. The Mount's helped a huge amount, and the amount of support I've had recently as well from teachers, just helping me practice the speech, helping me kind of really refine it and making it the best it can possibly be. I'm just really, really grateful for everything they've done to help with this and with everything else as well.
I think it's absolutely a credit, not just yourself but the school as well, for channeling you in this way. I really am overwhelmed at how confident you are in delivering that and writing the whole thing. I'm just amazed. I wish I had done the same at your age as well. I mean, I'm 38 now. And, yeah, right. Congratulations. I'd like to thank you very much indeed for coming in and talking about that. You are welcome anytime. Anything that happens in your life from now on, you have a slot here on YO1. I shall tell you that now. So on behalf of us all here, thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you for letting you out of school. What's this afternoon bring for you?
I think I have global thinking and then specials. And specials is I think this week it's a mock court case.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Yeah, you could be a judge.
Mm.
Yes, we'll leave it there, I think. Amy Foster, thank you very much indeed for joining us. And I wish you all the best for your future career, whichever path you decide to take. And I'm sure the path is going to be the right one.
Thank
you.
So
thank you again. So there you are. That was Amy Foster, College 1 at Mount School. It is just an amazing school. I've been there many, many times. And how they teach and what they teach really does matter to the well-being and the future of its pupils, no matter what age they are at that school. And if you want to find out more, they have a website. Go on and have a look. They have open days. Pop down if you've got a daughter that is interested in being progressed and put in the right direction. There's no better place than the Mount School here in York.